Do you know Quincy's recycling rate? Does anybody can raise your hand? If you know the recycling rate, how many people?
I know Ward 1 has the highest recycling rate because we have big barrels.
Oh.
Pilot program, true to be true. If you increase the barrel, they increase the rate. So Ward 1 had a pilot Monday trash rate. I don't know who sent it.
So the percentage overall is 15%. So only 15% are recycling, which is quite poor compared to other towns and cities in Massachusetts of the same size. So the question for Ann Mahoney is, what advantages would result from increasing our recycling rate, and how could the city make it happen in 90 seconds or less?
So one of the things that we do and we need to do better at is educating the public on the value of recycling. I know that we talk about cost, but really educating them and also teaching them. There's so many ways that we can teach them. We have QATV that we can use. We have a website. We have YouTube that we can teach them and really kind of educate people. Cambridge does it really great, where they go out to things that are going on in the community, and they talk about their recycling and they talk about their composting, and they do it in a YouTube fashion where it's getting people excited and engaged. And we have to do that. The excitement has to start though, right from City Hall, right from the mayor's office all the way down, and it has to go through the mayor's office to the DPW to the schools and out to the general public. And really, when you talk about recycling, sometimes people don't think it's very glamorous, but knowing what you can recycle, how you can recycle, and how you can package that recycling bin and make it a challenge in your own home. You can even create an atmosphere where it can be, students can win things, or our families can be engaged to win things. But we really have to make it so that the whole community is engaged and want to recycle. I use an example of my dad. My dad's 90 years old. He saves the newspaper plastic, and he recycles the newspapers into these cute little tubes, and it's like a whole week's worth of newspapers that he throws out, but it's very organized and very packaged well. And the reason why I say that is my kids have been taught that too. And when you actually look at different generations and how they're approaching things, it's something that we all do, but we need to encourage people and be able to educate them on how we can do it and make it part of the whole community and be engaged in everything that we do, from every environment that we do it to.
As Commissioner of Public Works, it was one of our goals to educate the public and go into the schools and educate the youngsters about the significance of recycling, not only for the environment, but also the economic reality is, at the time that I became commissioner, we were spending about $90 to dispose of our trash, $90 a ton. And we renegotiated that contract and got it under $70 a ton. Actually, it was closer to $100 when I became the commissioner. There was about a $3 million savings over a 10-year period by doing that. Recycling is a significant way for the city not only to attain its goal of having zero trash and having the recyclables being used to convert to energy, and that's what perhaps can happen and or reuse back into society, but it's a way for us to save money as well. So when we renegotiate the contract with our trash collector, we mandated in the contract that they make a robot for us, and we put that robot to good use. Mr. Leonard is here. Those of you who may know him, the science instructor at retired from Quincy High School. And we go into every third grade class and teach those kids the significance and the importance of recycling. We did 2 newsletters a year promoting recycling, twice a year, and all the other programs that we have, trying to get the word out that recycling is a very important aspect of what we should be doing as a city. Thank you.
I have to say I agree with a lot of what has been said, but to understand things, you've got one thing on one end with the taxes going up, and then you've got the other with trying to become globalized and trying to reduce energy. I understand reducing energy. I do, because some of the stuff I designed, I worked on some of that stuff. But basically, there is a state Senate bill, S-1959. It is going into a hearing on October 24th, and it is to put the toll roads on all of the roads around us, so you won't be able to have a go anywhere without a transponder and paying a toll, and they're going to toll different vehicles of different rates to control your choices. And I started a statewide ballot initiative to try to get ahead of this, and I will be there to testify on October 24th that people do not need this invasion into their privacy. And I am at large looking out for people, whether I'm elected or not, and that is who I am. Thank you.
Let's rewind for 2 years ago. I sat in the same exact seat, spoke to you about the recycling program and how we want to initiate a new recycling barrel system into the city of Quincy. I put that forward, and it's up at the mayor's office right now. It's something that's an investment. It's not a cost, it's not an expense, it's an investment, because we'll get the return back. And the return is that the trash will be 64 gallons and the recycle will be 96 gallons. So you're going to force people out there to recycle, and that's going to educate them to start with. Then we need to educate the public on how to do this. In Abington right now, if you don't put your recyclable out, they won't take your trash. So how do we, as a city council, come in and put an ordinance in or put a rule in and initiate this? You have to put your recyclable out that's 96 gallon. Well, they won't take your trash for 64 gallon. Trash could pile up really fast, couldn't they? And it also forces the consumer or the person in that household to recycle. It's a great way the Abington did a good job with that. I've asked other people and they say, you know what? I have to do it, so I do it. And it actually, in the long run, saves money. This is something that Quincy needs to move forward. We need to look outside the other municipalities and what they're doing and what's working for them and institute it here in the city of Quincy. The next 2 years, I'll be looking to institute this as an investment, not a cost. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree. Like I just mentioned, the larger size barrels, it's a visibility, it's an awareness that they see. You know, we all know in this room, we're all environmental advocates. You know, you can go to DPW, get a sticker, put it in a barrel. I put out 2 barrels of recycle a week and a half a barrel of trash. We have very small trash output in our home. The city has a lot of opportunity to increase this rate. I'm really disappointed to hear how low it is. The multi-unit developments, I know as we're permitting new projects, it is part of our discussion about incorporating recycle and designing it into the buildings. When a lot of the older high-rises were built in our city, recycling was not streamlined in our community. What about our municipal buildings? What are we doing? And the council, those who are up here with me on the council know I literally check the trash after every council meeting because there's always paper in the barrel, and I am the one pulling it out and putting it in the recycle bin. It's true. Ask them, all the offices. I think every single trash barrel needs to have a recycle barrel next to it. I really feel there's an opportunity. I know the high schools, and I see him here, has some green teams. What opportunities are there through community events? And I've seen them out there. They do a great job. In fact, they have artistic recycle bins. I really feel engaging them and empowering them to help improve our goals for our recycle rate could be beneficial to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. So I believe that there are a lot of advantages to increasing the amount of recycling that we have here in the city. I am also appalled that it's only 15%. That is incredibly low, and I think it's something we need to work on from all fronts, whether it's the private life or public life, in our public buildings or in our homes. I think some of the advantages to having increased recycling, are going to be long-term, but education is, of course, one of them. We need to make sure that we're starting young, we're going into the schools, we're teaching kids, we're offering materials for them to bring home to their parents, because then you're not just starting with the child that you're talking to so that they can then, in effect, implement these things as they get older, but you're reaching the families through these kids as well with the schools. We did have a program in the city where you get a discount card when you go to pick up a recycling bin. A lot of families across the city I see have the older, smaller bins. And if we're going to promote recycling, we need to incentivize folks here to get the larger bins so they can recycle more within that 1 week period. I had the opportunity to travel last year actually to Taiwan, and we talked to the mayor of Taipei there, and his city councilor, one of his city councilors, was scratching his head, and he said, "We can't figure it out." And I said, "What's that?" And he said, "We put out this program to enforce recycling, and if you mixed it, then you would get fined for it." And so a lot of families across Taipei, the city, had upped their recycling. So the amount of waste went down about 20%. The amount of recycling went up 15%. They can't figure out what their extra 5% went, right? Where did that trash go? And, you know, they were all sitting there and they all laughed like that, and we did too as well. But I think the point to that was people had less waste. And that's what we need to do here, because at the end of the day, that's going to help with the rodent problem that we have here. It's going to make sure that we're being mindful as well as a city. And at the end of the day, I can't say it enough, it's going to help us save costs. Thank you.